Alright, I didn't expect to make this video, but I was asked to explain how the card game Chaotic works. And oh my god, I have this typed, and this is like a whole essay, so I figured it'd be easier to make this like vocally now that I could just post this on my channel and I could help all the other people that want to get into this game get into it. So let me give you some background info real quick. This game is really old. This game hasn't been around for at least 15 years. I've waited 15 years for this moment, bro. Ever since I was a youngling. Every Sunday I would go to the bagel shop with my mom. It's just in the morning, grab everybody bagels. And there's this card shop right next to it called Jelly Bean. And it was they couldn't hold tournaments or anything like that, but they had all the products. So they had like Chaotic, Yu-Gi-Oh, Magic, old Pokemon shit, the old Pokemon shit. And then after I would go there for like damn near 8 years. Then one day it shut down and turned into a nail salon. I'm like, ah, fuck. So now I've been holding these like for years. And I'm about to use them to show you how to play this game. So let me start this off very light. So how you play the game, there's a couple of different formats for it. So there's a 1v1 format, a 3v3 format, and a 6v6 format. Primarily, we do the 6v6 one, and I'm not gonna lie, if y'all are down for it, I'll do 3v3. I've never personally like been big on that one, but I'll do it for sets. I'd rather do a set than a best of one format any day of my life. So how you play is you assemble a team of 6 creatures. Yeah, I had to think about that for a second. 6 creatures, and you fight other people with them. So all these creatures come from different tribes, and I'm going to explain what their gimmicks are, and see if you can. Aside from one, I'm gonna be honest, I didn't pull any of these, and they're super bred now. Like I can't reasonably like pay for white cards. Shout out to Coda. I know you're stacked. I know you're stacked on this shit, bro. Fuck. So I'm gonna start off with Danians because I have a lot of these for some reason. And check this out. I didn't realize this. I have an old. Oh shit, let me zoom in real quick. Oh shit, it's backwards. How do I fix this shit? I gotta get like an actual camera or something. So, I'm gonna show you what this is. So this is the queen of all the bugs. All the Danians. They're... Oh my god, I can't... Fuck it! I need an actual camera. I'm just gonna tell you what it is. So this is easily one of the most broken cards in the game. They actually had to hotfix errata this. But I don't have that version. I have the original version of that, which would be cooler. So it's errata. For those of you who don't know what errata is, it's when they have to hotfix a card. They have to change the wording of a card. Normally this would be in a reprint. I don't have that, unfortunately. I have the first one that is super cracked still, regardless. Even with that errata, it's still one of the best cards in the game. So, first of all, let me tell you where all the stats are. The health is right here. I know it's backwards. I'm going to try to make this work. So, it's a 60 on average. This is like her high. This is her high end. So, she has like good health. Oh, fuck me. I have to explain this. So, all the cards are not created equal. What do I mean by this? So, I'll give you an example. I have this Maxor. He is at 55 health, right? This is his middle stat. So he can either go 55, actually no, it's either 55, 60, 65 or 50, 55, 60. And yes, that is important because this is how much damage you can take when you hit 0. It's game over for that character. Oh god, I got shit in my eye. So the brown ones, sounds whack out of context. The brown ones' gimmick is they have bonuses based off if their guys die or if your guys die under specific circumstances. So a good example of this, Alexia says, whenever a Mandiblor, which is just a creature type, if you see right, fuck me, you don't actually see it. If you see right in the middle, it's their creature type. So she's a Danian Noble. So Danian Mandiblors would have to be teamed up with her in order to get that effect off. She would gain a Mujic counter, which is this bottom left number right here. And she has another ability that activates something called Hive, and certain abilities trigger while Hive is activated. So during Hive, she Mujic counters on Alexia, count as Mandiblors you control while counting Mandiblors. Meaning she counts for, let's say she has 2, right? She would count 2 Mandiblors. So this guy called Udu Bathax. Ah, fuck. I gave Flynn my Udu Bathax. Shit. He would have an ability where all of his stats are increased by every Mandiblor you control or adjacent. He's very old. I don't know. I don't have... I think he's in my common box. I'm not going to go scour and get it. But he has weak overall stats. So if you have him and 5 others, all of his stats would be plus 25, plus 25. Which is pretty big. I think he'd be like 60 energy on average by that metric. But she wouldn't even get hotfixed because of all of that other stuff I just said. She got hotfixed by this very first line of text. Adjacent creatures have defender. So she is supposed to have these keywords right here. Oh shit. Unique and loyal. Unique means you can only have one of it. And loyal means you can only play it in the tribe it says. So I'll give you an example. The black cards have to stick together. Or cards that are classified as minions. So a minion would be one of the other colors plus this brainwash tags. If you have this brainwash tags and the minion type, you can play them with the black cards. But I'm going to be very honest, black is the worst color. No one's hitting that shit. Except me. I know I'm him. There's no way. So they literally had to hotfix nerf this because you could put this in every deck at first. It was disgusting. So defender means blocker. Let's say I attempt to... So let's say I attempted to fight Necrob, right? With Maxor. This guy would come in and fight him instead. And instead of going, if he would win, he would go into my spot. But he would go over here instead, since he won that combat. There are tactical advantages for this to happen. A good example, let's say we were playing a 6v6. Let me get all my example cards out real quick. Let's say instead of going here, it would go here. This guy can fight this guy. This guy is technically too far away to fight him. So in this square, you have all of these guys. The top right corner you can't fight. So strategically, you could just... This obviously wouldn't be this guy. But if you thought this side was weaker than this side, you would just attempt to swap over. All right. All of what I said just meant I had to do it like that. So let's say this lizard guy goes into this bug. Alania gives Maxor defender. So meaning this guy would have to fight Maxor instead of this weak mage. And that would just be fucking catastrophe. It could be a catastrophe for the other guy if I didn't have a shitty Maxor. But we're going with that. Alright, now we're back over here. So, it has a lot of gimmicks. It is incredibly versatile. Let me say that. It essentially adapts because they're insects, right? They have their own, like, they can mutate and shit and evolve quicker. They have their own bunch of gimmicks. So, this guy, Necrob, has a unit where he is called Graveyard Hate. So if a creature would be, like, brought back, it is actually exiled. And that comes up because certain tribes can revive creatures. And he would gain 2 music counters based off this. So he would go to 4 music counters. Essentially, if they... I'll actually bring this up before I go over Underworlders. So that was primarily the Danians. Now, Overworlders, they're a jack of all trades type of clan. You know, if you know what I'm saying. But they primarily focus on healing over the course of a game and gaining stats. So I only brought this guy out just to flex. This is a video game only promo. I have the Chaotic Shadow Warriors Wii game somewhere in my closet right now. You could only get these promos from the individual Shadow Warriors Wii container thing. I am flexing. I know. I have been sitting on this for 15 plus years. I gotta flex this shit. So this is Maxor, the head honcho of the Overworlders, and just by looking, we can figure out what Overworld's all about. If you notice his heart on the left, it is 110, which is way above average for most cards. Average stats are like this guy, like 40, 45, 60, 65, stuff like that. So anybody having a stat over the hundreds means they're good in specific decks. So a good example, oh fuck me, I'll have to get to attacks in a little bit. What do I have in my pile over here? I brought some. So all right, this isn't a good example. If this was a courage attack, Maxor would meet over the threshold of it, and he would get bonuses. The attack would get bonuses based on if Maxor has the stats or not. But we're not ready for discussion yet. And Maxor also has the ability to heal 10 damage to any creature, including opponents. For some reason. I couldn't tell you that. I've seen it come up. Don't ask me why. I've seen it come up. So, I pulled up one of my favorite cards in the game. It's this girl called Avena. Yeah. It's 2 N's, yeah. So she has something called Outperform. So meaning if you have any card with Outperform in it, means if you win a stat check, it will do an additional like 5 damage. Not a stat check, like any like Outperform, Wisdom, and Courage. Meaning if she wins a Courage or Wisdom attack, it will deal an additional 5 damage. So if I have like 75 Wisdom on a move, I have 80 on this card, but my main one is like 90 something. It'll do an additional 5. So instead of 20, it'll deal 25. And this, it chunks over time. Believe me, it chunks over time. I've lived through it. I've gotten chipped down by Avena. No fucking reason, bro. It was whack. So now I'm gonna go into Mepedians. Oh shit. I think I have a cool one that I can show. You know what? I'm gonna flex it. Fuck it. So Mepedians don't really use Mutic. Alright, that's controversial. I don't think they actually use Mutic like that. They primarily care for damage. So they have this gimmick called Invisibility. Oh, fuck me. I keep forgetting I'm in reverse. So basically, Invisibility means if you go first, you will get these when you go. I'm saying if. When you go first, because they have a lot of gimmicks that make them go first. So your first attack will deal an additional 15 damage. And I'm pretty sure surprise means you get to flip their battle gear face down. No. They have a bunch of them. They have invisibility disarm, means when they hit first, you can't use your battle gear. Surprise means you will go first automatically because it's like a sneak attack. They turn invisible, it's their gimmick. And again, strike 15 means their first attack would deal 15. So even if you make the base damage of an attack 0, it will do 15 by itself. That seems very whack, I know. And there's certain cards that make it so a card is considered their first attack. So you get obscene bonuses off it. I'm going to be very honest. This is probably aside from white, this is the least seen color, I feel like. Me personally. But it has I feel like high ceiling, low full floor type of scenario, which means the sky's the limit, but you're gonna have to climb a lot of stairs to get there. Now there's this other subtype called War Beast, and I finally get to flex this. I have a Misprint Ixis out of a trial deck, but his stats are outrageous. This would be an 85 on average. Minimum. I think 80 minimum. It's either 80 or 85 minimum stat, but he says all your other guys lose 10 health. He's a big tank, but he makes the rest of your board inherently weaker. But that's what So these War Beasts are supposed to be super overstated. I wonder if I can actually. I have a binder right next to me. Let me see if I have one. Shit, I did not order it. Oh, okay. Oh, hell yeah. I still have this. It's this guy called Blasvatan. He has 75 health, 2 elements, air 5, earth 5. If you see 5 on a card, that means if it's something, whatever's next to it, if you use that, it'll deal an additional +5. So he deals an extra 10 damage on earth/air attacks because you're playing them in an earth. You're an earth air deck. Most of your attacks are going to be earth air, 2 tribes at the same time. So all your attacks are going to be dealing 10 extra damage. However, there's a giant drawback to this. He has this thing called Recklessness 25, meaning every time he takes an attack, he deals himself 25 damage. So in 3 hits, he will kill himself. However, there are these subtypes called Conjurers. I said Conqueror, right? Fucking A. So it will reduce the recklessness. I'll use this guy, Habek, because this guy went astronomical in price. He used to be dirt. Now I've seen him for $40 a pop. I think I'm sitting on 4 of these. I have to look now. So, meaning, since Blasvatan has 2 elements, his recklessness would be reduced by 20. And this guy can stack. So, meaning, if you have 2 of these behind Blasvatan, meaning, if you have this guy and Blasvatan, and I'm going to use this guy as another version of him because it's right next to me, he would have no recklessness. So half of your board would be a War Beast. The other half of your board would be support. It's a big give and trade type of thing. I don't really see these. I've seen one guy use these over my whole lifespan because most people use the invisibility one. But I want these to pop off so bad because they're sick. You literally control Takaijus mid-fight. That's sick as fuck. Come on. Now, we're going to get to Underworlders, and I'm going to use these to explain the other cards that are in the game overall. So my Underworld deck's downstairs. I'm not going to go get it. So this is an Underworlder. This is called Navina. So most of the time, they are all about just burn. It is straight up burn. I think Chaos says pay 2 music. No, I think Chaos says pay 3 music, negate overworld music or something like that. I don't have them in front of me. But essentially, they are all about just beating ass. If you let me give you a better example of what I'm referring to. Okay, I pulled up to it. So this is all right. Let me flip it. This is called Lord Von Blute. He is essentially, realistically, the main villain of Chaotic, pretty much. So Von Blute says whenever a creature engaged with him, meaning he has to fight him, is less than 65 courage or less. Oh wait, no, he is at 65. Some cards specify that he would just flat out lose 10 energy. So because he's at 65, he won't get affected by Von Blute. But if he were to fight Navina, instead of 30 off rip, she would be at 20. And Von Blute is whenever he's fighting you in general. So if he manages to lower your stat, you just lose 10 health off rip. And then you just die off that. They're all about dealing extra damage and just clearing the board as fast as possible. What else do I have that is a good example of this? Oh, okay, I got this. I'm sitting on some Magmons. So Magmon says other fire creatures have Reckless is 5, Fire 5, meaning they'll take 5 more, but they'll deal 5 more. And this guy can stack, so the numbers can get really crazy quick. Right? The numbers can just get really big, really quick. And it's all about super offense. But if you remember earlier, I did bring this up. I gotta pull them up. So I brought up that revival gimmick earlier because Underworlders have a card called Song of Revival. So for 2 music counters, I can bring any Underworld creature in my drop zone, which is in this discard pile, to any space on the board with no music counters. If I had a Chaos right now, I would just pay 2 on Navina, sack her, bring Chaos back, and now Chaos can easily mop the floor with this guy. But because of his ability, Chaos will be actually exiled, and I just wasted 2 music counters for no reason. I just misplayed bad, doing some stuff like that. I hope these examples are trying to give you like further insight into how like certain games are played, because not every game will be the same. Trust me on this. Trust me, I've lived through it. All right, so I think the last one we're gonna go through are called Marillions, which are the big bads of season 2 onwards. Because it was Lord Von Blute for the main part. Because he was a mechanizing bum. And it was like a lot of political tension. A lot of political tension. And I'm actually going to use the Marillions to explain how locations work. So I have this card called Rathtab. So he has unique loyal, meaning you can only have one of them. You can only play him with other Marillions or minions. So minions would be that Atali I had earlier. Do I have any? Oh, sorry, hold on. I have a bunch in the binder next to me. So right here, you can run him instead of this big text, this forward text. You would get the backwards, the brainwash text. So he would get a buff based on your board state. This guy just flat out gets 40 health. and becomes a crawl, which is specific for certain gears and type changes. Ollie, instead of having Earth 5, he would gain additional 30 wisdom, 30 power, lose 30 wisdom. So he become even dumber. He would have 110 power, but 5 wisdom. He's literally just a gorilla. My spirit animal right there, no lie. So these guys have certain gimmicks. You want these guys in the back majority of the time. Well, they're literally like, they literally just destroy people's minds and take them over. So once these guys are gone, once the chieftains are gone, they go back to their original text because he's not here anymore. So this guy is very important for Marillion gameplay. The problem is, these guys are weak as fuck. And I'm not talking about like stat-wise. I'm talking overall ability-wise. Like, alright. So, this might be controversial for me. At least I've never lost to a chieftain deck. I don't think I've lost to a chieftain deck. I think the only chieftain deck I've like lost to was the one I secretly made. So it's not the end of the world for me. Because nobody plays the shit I actually play. No one plays the shit I actually play, bro. Oh, God. So there's... All right. So remember on this guy, he says turns him into Corol. This guy is a Corol also. So they share the creature type. And certain battle gear, which I will bring up in a little bit, has certain bonuses based on types, based on oh my god, I'm blanking bad on this. I don't remember. Wow, that was bad. Regardless. He has the same thing. All big-time Marillions are going to say these. You would have to... Hold on, I think I brought him over. As an example, I just got to find him. Here he is. So, some Marillions you can just team up with other players. I've lost to a chieftain deck. I've lost to this guy a lot. This guy puts in insane work. So he has an ability called Fluid Morph, which a lot of the regular Marillions have, aside from these guys. These guys are like the working class. These guys are the head honchos. These guys are like the mages of everything. So Fluid Morph means every single time he used a water attack, everybody would gain a music counter. Yeah, you heard me right, bro. And then certain chieftains would... actually, do I have him? I want to see if I have him now. Oh, I don't, guys. I'm lame. There's this guy. If you have 100 music counters on board, you win the game. There were win cons with music counters and stuff. And again, notice this. You can only have one of them, but you can team him up with the other guys. You can make him team up with other guys as long as it's a water deck. He'll prosper. So that's like what alright, now I gotta get over the types. The attack types. So hold on. He has what's fire air that I brought over? I got earth wind. Yeah, actually no, this works. So if you notice, Knuckworm's middle section is empty, meaning he can't use water or earth. And if you notice, it's the opposite for Malf. Malif? Is that an I? Am I dyslexic? Whatever. So meaning this guy can only use air and earth attacks, this guy can only use fire water attacks. Obviously, you want to have synergy with your attack deck. So you would stack a Malthus with a bunch of guys that have invisibility and air earth attacks. And for Knuckworm, you want to stack fire water, but primarily water. You can do both, but he's primarily a water guy because he can actually bring himself back to life if he has exactly 3 music counters on him. So fucking whack. It's so whack. So let me bring up, let me go back to my Underworld page. Alright, so let me bring out this guy called Bareth Beyond. Now, there's a subclass called Legendary. You can only have 1 Legendary in your deck at all times. So, I'll bring up an example. I have this thing called the Dread Shred, which is a battle gear. Normally, it would work like this. At the start of combat, you would flip your... Oh, I have to sleep. You flip your card face down, and if you were engaged in combat, the battle gear would flip. And it would be active. Now, certain guys... Grav, whatever the fuck, that dumb hippo fuck... flips it face down again, and you can't use it until that encounter happens. So... Some guys would like to do. I do this because I've gotten so sick of losing to it. Mid-fight, let's say, hey, I flip my battle gear, reveal the Dread Shred. This guy goes, hey, sack a music counter, flip it face down. You don't have it for this combat, and that could just be a game ender right there because certain creatures rely on battle gear to be good, unfortunately. Now let me explain what battle gear actually is. So you see how it has legendary? Meaning you can't run the Dread Shred and Bareth Beyond Underworld General in the same deck. You would have to pick one. Now, the Dread Shred is when the equipped creature moves and wins in that combat, it can attack again. So you can get 2 battles in one sitting if you win. You can just snowball. This can snowball the game out of hand really fast. Because you could just put this on Kaor. Kaor is very overstated. And he can just... he could just go... Oh, what's good, Nequin? Bam! Then, oh, he wins that combat? Boom! He goes in the next square. But it only says twice. So he can't go into, like... He can't stack this forever. That would be crazy. That would be actually crazy. Alright. So now... I'm going to go over locations. Where is this guy? He's back. So, Barakatan, this is the Shardcrafter's workshop. This is essentially his house. So, he would have, like, the advantage here. Because it's built, like, with him in mind type of stuff. They would be like Lord Von Blood has a bunch of he has 2 locations, so he would get specifically buffed based on these locations. And now how locations work means before combat happens, you have to have 10 of these and shuffle them into a separate location deck. Now, when you and your opponent engage, whoever, like, I don't know, wins the die roll and goes first, you guys gotta flip locations before you declare attackers. And depending on what the location is, that could mess up your game plan or buff you or depending, like, all right, so hold on. Let's say we flip the Storms and Glacial Pillars. Glacial Plains. So I'll bring up Knuckworm once again. So there's this thing called Initiative Fluid Morpher. Since Knuckworm is a Fluid Morpher, this means if the other guy isn't a Fluid Morpher, he would instantly go first. A good example, Initiative Wisdom. Knuckworm's Wisdom is what, 70? So if he wins the Wisdom whoever has the highest of the stat would go first in that combat. But this would only happen if, like, let's say I'm fighting Knuckworm. I think I have another one. I think I have another one. Let's say he fights another Knuckworm. This is another version of him that's brown. So let's say I fight Knuckworm, like Knuckworm v Knuckworm Mirror. The initiative is Fluid Morpher. We're both still Fluid Morphers, meaning you would have to go to like a dice roll or something of that sort. If they have the same, like if it's the same stat. Do I have anybody? Oh, here's a good one. So you see how the Storms says Wisdom? Barakatan and Knuckworm have the same Wisdom, meaning you would have to dice roll for it. And you would build, like, let's say I have a, let's say I have a Knuckworm list. And I would just stack it with locations that would benefit Knuckworm. Alright, I'm gonna see what's up. Okay, the Storms would be played in like a Mepedian list, because let's say you have an Mepedian that only gets Earth. This gives it air, so it will give that guy easier access to your deck. If any of this is making sense, please let me know. I'm not good at this type of stuff. And I'm just going to bring up more keywords that I have. It just, oh my god. Yo, you see how stacked this sleeve is? I might have, oh, hold on, let me zoom out. You see how stacked this sleeve is? I might have a bunch of these. Oh my god, I'm sitting like 4 of these. So this guy called Wama, he's a Mandiblor from earlier, right? So that means when he dies, he gives Alexia a music counter. And he has this thing called Defender Fire Earth, meaning he can block for creatures that have fire or earth. So I'll give you an example. Knuckworm has fire, right? So if someone was trying to attack him, I can use Wama to block. Or, okay, I'll use this. I'm just going to use this as an example. If I use Navenna, who doesn't have anything, I can't use this to block. He's just his own guy there. That's how Defender works. If it's like, let me pull it up. So Alexia just gives everyone regular Defender. This is situational Defender. You would have to build around this. This you can just fucking slap in any list. You could just slap this in any Danian list and it'll be cracked. So, I don't really know what else to say. I don't really know what else to say. Oh no, attacks! I almost forgot them. So how the attack deck works is the whole deck is 20 cards, and the cards total have to equal 20. What do I mean by this? So let's say I have. Let me swap. Go. So let's say I have this card called Extinguishing Fountain. So this would be used in like a Knuckworm list. And it just says, since I have water, the opposing gaming creature loses fire. I think I've explained enough to the point where that's pretty devastating. But you see this 2 on the top left. Your whole deck has to equal 20 based on the number of these. So let's say I have 10 2-drops. That means the other half of my deck is forced to be all 0-cost cards. And 0-cost cards aren't the worst, but they're damn sure not the best. And I kind of want to just keep hitting people at all times. Unless it's like a strategic stat drop. Like some cards might run like a 5-cost, and their deck might be 15 1-drops and 3 0-drops, something like that. That's how you gotta figure out how to make your decks. This is actually probably the hardest part for me personally. It's just finding out like a good attack deck. Like the lineups are easy for me, locations are easy for me. Like the rest of the parts, oh shit, I didn't even get to like really music parts. So I think I'm gonna reiterate on this. So remember how? Let me pull it back up. Oh, this is some side project shit. Don't worry about it. So remember how Nevena had 3 music counters? Well, music is essentially the spell casting of chaotic, in the sense that you can use them for different effects. Now, there is generic music, but I'm going to be honest, majority of the good ones are banned, aside from this card called Carnivore's Keening, which I don't have in front of me immediately. Now, these also have unique or like only used, you can only use them in overall decks and such. I think that loyal music is very rare. I don't think I think there's maybe like 3 cards I can think off the top of my head that can do it. But I don't have the physical representation, so I'm not even going to say shit. Oh, I lied earlier. I actually do have 1 white card. This guy called Schmelden. He's really pissed looking. So the white cards are just prehistoric cards, like badass dinosaurs. Essentially dinosaurs. Like here's a big mammoth named Proboscar. He can move anywhere. Just cause. He doesn't even have, like... He's mainly for just moving around. Like, he's a speed... He's used in speed decks. So he would be, like, in some weird Lepedian list. Or something along those lines. Here's another battle gear called Gigant Trooper. So it sets all of your stats to 70. So if I put this on Knuckworm, he'll gain 15 speed, but lose 10 wisdom. So it's a jack of all. It's like it's used to turn like let's say I put this on Nevena, right? Instead of 30 health, she's got 70 health, and all her stats are 70. So it gives like weaker creatures a fighting chance against fighting the big threats of the game. Shit. I think that's really it. I don't know what else I got. I think I'm just gonna end it off there. If anyone watches this and I am wrong on stuff, please let me know. We're coming back. Big 2027, bro. January 2027 is my year for real. I strike back with a vengeance. I can play real life chaotic once more. Alright. I'll catch y'all next time. Oh shit. Okay, bye.